As the most populous black nation in the world, Nigeria is not only rich in human resources, but also endowed with several gifts of nature. The environment is rich in biodiversity, an alluring vegetation, and a fascinating topography. However, since crude oil was discovered in large quantity in the late 50s, in the wake of industrialization and urbanization, the country has been battling with a series of environmental challenges. For instance, in the 60s, Nigeria had over 30% of forest vegetation coverage, but in 2017, this coverage has reduced to 4%.
That our huge population and our lack of awareness of the dangers of environmental degradation is leading to us changing habitats, changing land use, degrading forests, degrading wetlands, poaching animals for bushmeat, and therefore is causing a lot of problems.
Areas like Ikoyi, all the other GRAs created, by the white men, it was full of gardens, greens and all that. Where are all those parks now? They are no longer there. At that time, people were so conscious of their environment.
We still have a lot of gaseous emissions, toxic emissions being released into the air, and we seem not to have a control about our emission standards in Nigeria right now.
In response to the environmental challenges, the Nigerian government has over time enacted laws aimed at protecting the environment. They include the Forestry Act of 1958, Territorial Waters Decree of 1967, the 1969 Petroleum Decree, Land Use Decree of 1978, the National Environmental Protection of 1991, and the Mineral and Mining Act of 1991.
They are not effective because they are not being enforced. The enforcement agencies are not being resourced enough, and therefore it's a big problem.
In 1988, there was a toxic dump in Koko, the then Bendel state. So an Italian ship came to Nigeria. They had met the guy called Mr. Koko in Bendel state, gave him some money. He didn't understand the issues. They were chemical waste and medical waste. That thing killed that man in the space of 6 months. And that was what gave birth to the Federal Environmental Protection Agency.
In the 60s and 70s, solid waste management did not receive a major attention. Solid waste and the environment were monitored by the communities, local councils, and the dreaded sanitary inspectors, known in the local parlance as Wole Wole.
You have the communal settings. Kept site services were not there. What people were doing there was to pick their waste and take it to a communal center where the PWD people, then the Public Works Department, then they call them, they are the one handling all this sanitation. They will go there and use their rake and basket and rake this waste into the side loaders. They call them side loaders then. And they take them to public incinerators. Incinerators, they're not really incinerators, they're just open burning. They go and burn those things slightly outside town in those days.
The fear of the Wole Wole is the beginning of wisdom in those days. And at that time, the environmental health officers, sanitary inspectors, or the Wole Wole as they are being called in Yoruba language, have that power to go even into your room. In fact, inspect your pots. Inspect to the water you are drinking. A Wole Wole, a sanitary inspector or an environmental health officer will check your compound. If it is not swept, you are in trouble.
Bearing in mind the importance of parks and gardens, in 1979, the Nigerian government enacted Decree No. 46, which facilitated the establishment of its first national park, the Kainji Lake National Park. Presently, the nation has 8 national parks, while some states have also constructed their parks and gardens. Worthy of note is Lagos State, which presently has over 30 parks and gardens. Statistics say Nigeria ranks 100 among 180 countries in the Environmental Performance Index.
All we need is that political will to do it. All right? And for our people, it's all about our own willingness to make sure that we support government. We need to define ourselves as a people. Are we neat people or are we dirty people?
As the nation continues the journey towards greater development, it is hoped that the government and the people will show more commitment and action in the protection of the environment.